Hi, everyone. This is Paul with To Live For, and I'm really excited to introduce this fascinating, wonderfully bright, radiant family who Donna Maria and I met in Mal Pais, Costa Rica. And we met on the beach, and I just watched this family have fun. And what I sensed was a lot of mutual respect for each other, but also a lot of fun and admiration for nature, being in the ocean and just hanging out. So at the end of the day, I went up and introduced myself to the family. And as I got to know you, I just said, I really want to introduce you all to our audience. So who we have here are our 4/6 of the Lockhart family. So we have Mia and Steve, who are the parents. And we have Jasmine, who is the oldest. So junior in high school, senior? Junior. All right. And then we have Jade. So 9th grade? 10th grade. Cool. And then not able to be here today are 2 sons who are Milo and Ben, and they're 13 and 10. So when I met you, sorry?
They're having some fun outside. Well,
yeah. Is it beautiful up there like it is here today?
Yes.
It's sunny, yeah.
Spring is here today.
Well, I appreciate you taking time out from the sunny day to make time for this. So when I met you all, one of the messages I got from you was that you were on a journey. And that journey was basically you had just sold most of your belongings. You had put what belongings remained in storage, and you were basically traveling. And your children were going to school at the same time remotely. Can you tell me a little bit about that and how that came about?
So we had, I would say, a couple of years ago now, we had sold our house and decided that we would move to Vancouver to try another city out. And we didn't have everything figured out, of course. But in that process, it wasn't easy. I won't paint a perfect picture by any means. But the result of not owning a home and those kind of things makes you mobile, so you're able to get to try different cities out. So yeah, we moved there and we settled in, and I did contracting at the time, and my wife worked for a startup company, and our kids went to school. And so we were just living a regular life still. Not much has changed, just we didn't own as much stuff. And then around Christmas time, we decided that we wanted to switch things up again, and that's where we met you in Costa Rica. We've been there for a few months.
So go ahead, Mia.
Oh, I was just going to say, like the process, we did move across. I don't know if we mentioned where we were in Nova Scotia. We moved to Vancouver, so it was directly across the whole country. And so the move to Vancouver was a huge change for us as a family and for our 4 kids. They grew a lot in that change moving. And then there was probably, it grew on us a little, just not a feeling that we felt at home in Vancouver. So that probably drew us to the decision to venture a little bit more. We definitely had more adventure in our blood, and we weren't feeling the need to settle down and make roots in Vancouver. And especially the fact that our kids are still in school, and they I don't know, we just started talking about options and looking online as far as people traveling and places to go. And there was the idea of looking at places that didn't have winter. That was one motivator too. So yeah, we looked at Costa Rica. We looked at Asia too, and a few other places. Talked to our kids too, and that's when we found out about online schooling. Just happened that the province we were in had online schooling, so that helped make a decision really easy for us, knowing that we didn't even have to worry too much about schooling. And so we took, we had the choice between kind of going to Bali, going to Costa Rica, and experiencing that. It a lot in family conversations. Actually, it was pretty great to hear the kids talking about what they like, what they didn't like, about life in Vancouver, and then of course what they saw as our experience would be in Costa Rica. And so we eventually just picked Costa Rica for our first adventure, basically. And we didn't have a huge budget. We didn't have a huge plan. It was mostly clearing up, all our kids into online schooling. Steve and I left our jobs. I kept some part-time work online, and Steve had some as well, so we knew we could get by. And then rented a house in Costa Rica, similar to, or slightly less than what we were paying in Vancouver. So it wasn't like a huge drop in expenses, but also the fact that we knew we would miss winter, we wouldn't have all the additional expenses of life, like just that happens when you deal with winter and cold weather and everything in Canada. So yeah, so that's where we saw you. We were on the beach living out winter, and the kids transitioned into online school life. We kept our life pretty simple there. We didn't have a vehicle, so Costa Rica was a lot about just living in a warm place, a little house, probably not bigger than a living room and kitchen that we were used to. So it's definitely smaller, and we all just took carry-on bags. That's all we had. And it was the simpleness of it was probably the most profound. We had Wi-Fi for schooling. We could walk to the beach. We could walk to groceries, and it was a ton of family time. But yeah.
And I got to watch some of that family time, and it was awesome. So Jade, for you, I just heard from your parents' perspective about this decision-making process, but what was it like for you as a 10th grader? You're in the middle of high school and you're in a way being uprooted. Were you on board with this?
Yeah, well, we had already moved from Nova Scotia, and that's where most of my friends are. So I had already left and had to start in Vancouver, and I didn't really like it there as much as Nova Scotia, and I didn't really make it like really good friends and stuff. So I was excited to go to Costa Rica. I liked it there last time we went. It's got to winter, be in the sun.
And were you able to focus on your school while you were in Costa Rica, despite the fact that the beach was a few steps away?
Surprisingly, yeah, more than I can do when I'm back here. We had a routine. We just did a few hours a day, and then we got to go play.
Jasmine, same perspective for you, or you're a little bit older, so you've had most of your high school done.
Yeah, it definitely was. I was so glad to be going. Like, I was really excited. I was just kind of like waiting for something new to happen. I love traveling too, and I was actually really excited about doing online school because I'm not a big fan of like the in-school system. So I was kind of like looking forward to just like going online, having all the courses right there, so I could get my work done and stuff like that. But of course, I like the social part of school where like there's people my age around, and like I really like that, and like doing like presentations and stuff like that. Like you don't really get that on online school, but then again, like online school, traveling and being able to do like a couple hours a day, which was really nice. And not having to, because you waste, I feel like, so much time in like normal school, and like we took in like a month break even from our online school, and we're still able to be like on track and on the same pace as the people in school as well.
So to both you and Jade, how do your friends respond to this? Do they think you're kind of crazy for putting everything in storage and creating this opportunity, or are most friends excited for you?
Pretty awesome. I don't know, like I think like they don't really know, because like look kind of romanticized and like, oh, you're going to the beach like every day and everything's perfect, but of course it's not perfect the whole time. Like like for me, like some days you just want to like hang out with people your own age. Of course, I love my family and it's great. We like get along very well.
But 24/7 can get a little
Yeah,
long.
that's I think the biggest thing. Like if I had friends there in the community, then it would be like just perfect. Like yeah.
Right. Jade, were you able to connect with some people your age down in Costa Rica?
Well, there was not a lot of teenage girls in where we were staying at all. So not really.
Yeah, mostly I noticed a lot of people in their, I guess would say 20s, early 30s.
Yeah.
People either travel with little kids or 20-something. It's less common for people to take teenagers traveling.
Yeah.
And I think it's because of a lot of pressure for the education. They're worried about university and credits and everything like that. So, but one thing, it was nice meeting the 20-year-olds. We were staying at a place where there was a bunch of gap year students from Europe. So it was interesting talking to them, and I think the girls were influenced a bit by them too. Just like gap years are a lot more common in Europe, and I'm a big fan of them. And I think definitely Jasmine will be taking a year to travel and meet people and take that time rather than jumping right from high school into university.
Yeah, I think it should be mandated personally, but
It's really nice. Like that time for a whole family is really, really nice because the pace of Costa Rica is way different. Life is so simple for us because literally our bills. The reason why we're able to do that is basically our home and our food and a little bit of extracurricular activity, but not that much. And we bought our surfboards and then we sold them again. There's just so many things that you can do that don't cost that much money. When you only pay for that, your cost of living goes way down.
yeah, I just posted an article about that, kind of comparing the cost between Costa Rica and Northeast United States. It's a huge gap.
Yeah.
For all four of you, I would be curious about the family discussions. Did it have to be unanimous? Was it all six of you had to agree to this plan, or did you, were the two boys like no, or how did that unfold? How did you guys create this open communication, and how did you let that communication flow?
Well, we did go to Costa Rica before, so we when we kind of decided on Costa Rica, we kind of knew what we were expecting in a way, even though we were going to a different spot. That kind of, because it was like one of the best trips of our lives. Like we all always talked about it and stuff like that. And so we were really excited to go back because we had been there before for a month, like 4 years ago.
So all four of you agreed to this readily. I mean, all six.
I think our youngest brother the most didn't want to go. Ben.
Yeah, the youngest. But that, like Jasmine said, Costa Rica, that was probably one of the reasons why we did really choose Costa Rica, because we all had positive feelings about Costa Rica. And there was the general consensus that we've had fun before here, so we can definitely go back. But yeah, you're right. There was that hesitation between leaving friends and familiar and being away where there's no guarantee of what it exactly is going to be like. There was definitely talk about that.
Right. So Steve and Mia, I just read one of your posts, Steve, and I'm gathering this applies with both of you, but correct me if I'm wrong. I think you've got a unique or a minority view in terms of parenting, in terms of the educational experience, and in terms of expectations. Like you already mentioned the fact that you would encourage a gap year. What are my words here? It's like you'd rather all four of your children kind of experience life the way they want to instead of the way you want them to. Is that?
I'll let Steve talk about his post a little bit if you want.
Of course, it's not. You want your kids to have the best. You want the best for your kids, but what I want maybe for my kids is not always best because what they want might be something different. What makes them happy might be something different, and ultimately they get to choose. And like, say if Jay doesn't want to do a gap year, and maybe I think that she should, well, she gets to choose, and she gets to choose whether she wants to go to university right away or do something else. So I'm a big believer in letting them to just decide what they actually want to do when it comes to those kind of things. Of course, they're influenced by their parents and are traveling, and we have a lot of discussions. But yeah, I would rather them choose and be open, and we discuss things. Like going to university, we listen to podcasts and then we discuss podcasts. Like one guy, his advice was, if you're going to university and you're choosing something, maybe look at the lifestyle of the person that is, in that job. And I thought that was, absolute great advice. So we'll discuss that as a family. You know what? If there's something you want to do, maybe that's a good thing to do. Go and see their lifestyle and see what it's like to be in that career first before you dive in and figure out if you like it or not and spend thousands of dollars.
Right. So speaking of lifestyles, you gave up a lot when in terms of leaving Nova Scotia and then eventually Vancouver. You lived in Costa Rica for the winter. What did you learn from the Costa Rican culture that you wanted to bring back to Canada? And maybe I should clarify now, are you back in Canada short term, unknown, for the summer?
We are nomadic right now, what we call nomadic, meaning we know that we want to be in a small little university town right at the moment.
We're back in Nova Scotia.
In Nova Scotia,
right
Canada. We're living still the same way. Like, we have our place. Right now we have no vehicle. We bike everywhere. We'll probably pick up a vehicle because it does make it convenient for some things, but we are still living very simply. We acquired our stuff at auction, and some friends that didn't need anything or need what they had, they give us some stuff. That's the same thing when we went to Vancouver. What you can find on Craigslist is amazing. You don't have to go out and buy a bunch of new furniture. You can set up really easy. People give amazing stuff away. And we live very, very simply. We choose to do this, to live simply like this. It's, I used to own a business. My wife used to own a business. We had the big house, the cars, all these things. And there's nothing wrong with that. But that was just very unsatisfying for us. Uncomplicating our life, living very simply, frees up time and opportunity to travel a bit. Like we couldn't be able to go to Costa Rica and spend 3 months straight and then a month before that in the United States without, if we had all the expenses.
Right, a mortgage and cars and insurance. And
again, it's not wrong to have all those things, but the simplicity has really opened up a space mentally, emotionally, and the opportunity to try different places out to live. And we ultimately don't know or have exact place where we're going to settle down. We just we're enjoying where we're at the moment, and yes, we will be going back to Costa Rica probably for a few months or somewhere else that's hot. We love the sun.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing we want to take back from Costa Rica, or things we learned there, was the simple life and pura vida, like that kind of healthy lifestyle of like nourishing your like time and space. That was a big part of, I know Steve and I's time in Costa Rica was taking time alone to get outside, and something that we've gotten out of the habit with as busy parenting and busy life is, in the mornings going for a 2-hour walk on the beach. Well, that kind of taking that kind of alone time is just so uncommon, but it's something that we're trying to do again here in now that we're here, and it helps that we don't have the as much in our schedule for sure. Our girls are finishing up their school year online, but our boys actually, they got the choice and they decided they wanted to enroll into school here for the last 2 months. So they're back in school here, and they're enjoying. They actually have a huge renewed appreciation for their friends and for school. So I mean, take something away for a while, and then you just appreciate it that much more when you go back. So there's that as well.
Yeah. Yeah. So, Mia, you have a blog going. Where you write about this experience, for loss of a better word. And Steve, you're doing some coaching, I think, around this concept.
Correct. Yeah.
Can you both talk a little bit about that?
Well, for me, blogging and writing about the experience, I think it helps me get clarity. It also, it's been fun to share experiences, and it's surprising how many people, send messages and thank you for doing this. In some ways, I get messages like, thank you for doing this because it inspires me. And I think that's a big thing people notice, is just taking the leap of doing something that seems slightly risky. It encourages other people to do it. So that's probably the biggest reason why I write about our family experiences. I also write about my own just growing and learning. But yeah, part of the sharing is just it helps others get a little picture of their possibilities. And it probably comes in our conversations a lot. Well, there is ways you can leave your big mortgage and leave your house and still be happy, and there is ways to make long extended travel possible without a huge budget. Those kind of conversations, a lot of people don't even let that possibility into their minds. So it's encouraging for people to see it. As you write about it, and
Right.
it's the possibilities that it opens up for people.
Thank you. Steve, how about your coaching?
So my coaching is probably not the sexiest thing and the most popular thing. I guess out of my own experience in life, where you experience loneliness, you experience, pain, you experience just general discontentment maybe with life. You're working at your job and you're saying, is this all there is? So, that is where this comes from, a genuine desire to actually help people and, say, you don't have to spend 40 years figuring this out. Often people feel like they're broken when really they're not broken. They're, in a situation that's not good for them. Like they're working at a job they hate, for example. Sometimes that can be the only thing they need to change in their life. Or they're in a business that really they don't want to do, and there's something else they want to do. So they're out of alignment with themselves. So maybe you're chasing the money instead of what you really want to do. So, I help people get to the truth of what's going on in their life, what they really want, and, get through all the conversations we tell ourselves, like the programming that we have. Like maybe we are, put money on a pedestal. So because we put money on a pedestal, we now choose a certain job. So it's just helping people see why they actually do something and changing that and getting to the truth of why they're doing what they are, what's really going on, and the truth of what they really want to do and who they are. And usually the result is you have the emotions you're looking for.
Right. I love the word truth. That's a word that my wife and I use a lot in terms of how to respond to different issues and challenges. Our final answer is be truthful.
Yeah. And it's, often it's helpful to, have somebody to ask you the hard questions and challenge you whether you're being truthful with yourself or not. Because I find in our North American culture, especially, the things we are not talking about, like loneliness, depression, anxiety. We show one side of us, and we never talk about these things that are really, really going on. And if we don't deal with what's causing these things, you know, we end up suffering in our health and suffering in our life.
Absolutely.
And so that's kind of how I work with people, just actually take an action on things that give them the emotions that they're actually looking for.
Right. Jade, what do you think about your parents? And I believe that you can still eat dinner no matter what you say. But, you know, when you look at your friends and their parents, and like your dad said, one way, no way is right or wrong. You know, this is just the way, this is just the journey that you guys have selected as a family. But how do you look up to your parents and kind of view this, what I think is a minority view or experience?
Well, definitely different from how my friends' parents are. They always say they come over and they wait for one of Dad's truthful talks about the life, one of his deep talks. But I think it's good. I mean, I just can pick what I want to do, and I don't have any like high expectations and high pressures, which I think is good.
Yeah, that's definitely important. I'm glad that you feel that you don't have to worry about those high expectations or that pressure. How about you, Jasmine? What do you think about your parents? What does it feel like?
I think it's awesome. I love seeing people just going out and like doing like stuff they love, like whatever makes you happy. I think it's great. Like they're like both working on like this makes me emotional too. They're like both working on their like dream jobs right now and what they want to do, and it really inspires me.
Thank you for sharing that. You're getting me teary-eyed.
And you know, we don't want to paint the picture that it's all perfect. It was a hard road to get here. Like, you know, selling businesses, selling stuff. You know, and it's not all easy, but there are a lot of rewarding, you know, points in it. But it's definitely not all easy. Sorry about that.
That's okay.
Yeah. So it's the same thing with going to Costa Rica. There's parts we absolutely love, like the space, the time, what happens to your body. You know, you feel like you get healthy, you're more grounded. You know, you asked about taking things back. Like we're still, you know, spending alone time in the morning. We're still keeping a very simple lifestyle. So those are some of the things we take back, and it's important for us to do that. It comes with all the good and bad. Yeah.
It is challenging. So I kind of forgot to explain at the beginning, but To Live For, what To Live For is about, that's our venture my wife and I have, is we believe that there's these inspirational stories out there, of which your family is an inspirational story. And we feel that as we share these stories or inspirational gifts and talents, the more people will be inspired to do the same. And I think you believe that as well. And we feel that the more people that live their own inspiring life, the better off our earth is going to be, our communities are going to be, the globe is going to be. I actually honestly feel that it's going to help with the healing of the earth physically, because there's been so much destruction of the Mother Earth in itself. But if you each, this is for each of you, whenever I do an interview, I ask this one question. And so I'd like all four of you to answer it. Again, there's many, many ways to lead an inspirational life. But if someone's listening to this and they want to take that next step, they want to feel like they're moving towards their own inspirational life. They're moving towards sharing their own joy, but they're stuck. One piece of advice that you could give that person And for, Jade and Jasmine, I'd like for you to think about it from someone that's your age. And that's a little bit selfish because I have 4 kids and I would love for them to hear what you have to say. But what do you think? One piece of advice, and I always limit it to one because I think there's probably a lot of different things out there.
Sure. I think I would say just be bold and trust yourself. Like, and don't think about what's going to happen. Just take the first step and think about what you want, not what other people want for you. And yeah, just like really take the time to dream and just like think of the possibilities. Because I feel like even conversations I have with my friends, like ask them like, what do you want to do and stuff. And it's not really something that's talked about a lot. Like they're like, oh, like I'll probably go to university here maybe. I don't really know what I want to do. Of course, you don't have to get it figured out or anything, but like it's just, I don't know. Yeah, I think it's good to dream and to, yeah, think of the possibilities.
Be bold. Absolutely. I think that's amazing wisdom coming out of a 17-year-old. Thank you for sharing that. How about you, Jade?
I would say to not care about what anybody else thinks, to just do what you want to do and not be influenced by other people.
Do you feel that you've have felt that inside of you for as long as you can remember, or is that a recent revelation for you?
I don't know. With all the new stuff we've been doing these last few years, like moving across the country and going to Costa Rica, I think I've learned that more in the last few years.
Yeah. Thank you for sharing that. I think, again, that's really deep wisdom coming from you. I appreciate that. Steve or Mia, what do you got?
Okay. I would say it's okay to listen to your gut. Like those inner promptings are there for a reason. And as scary as it is to listen to them, it's worth it.
So kind of put the fear aside. Thank you. That leaves you, Steve.
Yeah, that's a hard one. I don't know if you're feeling stuck. You know what helps when you're feeling like, you're stuck in a situation that you can't get out of. Everybody's unique. Everybody's different. Everybody has a different approach. I guess I'm trying to think of the advice I give myself and what I actually do for myself. You know what? I dig deep. I go in and try to find my own truth and hear my own voice and just listen to that and then act on it. Like, when I know my truth and I know what it is, it's just a lot easier to act. There's a lot of uncertainty if I'm just, when I'm stuck and I'm being very intellectual, it's difficult, but if I can quiet that intellectual, all those voices and influence and just know my own truth and act on it.
Thank you. Thank you. So, a family of 6, I would think it could get kind of busy. And I know that you're, working on having a simple lifestyle, but what do you guys do anything on a daily basis in terms of maintaining balance? In Costa Rica, it was that 2-hour walk on the beach, perhaps. I think you mentioned, Steve, that in the morning you still have time together to talk in the morning, but do each of you have a daily practice around staying balanced?
Yeah. Well, for me, I journal, like in Costa Rica, especially, I journaled every day, like every chance I could get. And it was really good. It's something I'd never done before. And I feel like I never would have if we didn't go there and have that like time and space to just do that.
Do you put that journal out there at all? Do you have your own blog going, or?
I don't.
Okay, I was just curious.
Yeah, it's a personal one.
Yeah.
I would say the main thing is exercise and then family dinners. although sometimes we get off track, but just because right now we don't have a table, that's the honest answer. In general, once we have our table back, family dinners are probably the place that we get have our best family discussions, and yeah, so that's probably our main family practice is family dinner discussions. But other discussions pop up.
Right. Yeah. About you, Jay, do you do anything on a daily basis that helps you stay on an even keel?
I don't really know. I don't have like a certain thing I do every day.
Do you, all 6 of you like being outdoors though, right?
Yeah.
I think that's pretty key to your family is getting outdoors.
And Jade, she stays pretty even keel all the time. So whatever she's doing, she might as well keep doing because.
Right.
Yeah.
I bake. That's what I do.
Yes.
There you go. Do you bake gluten-free by chance?
Yeah, sometimes.
Lots.
She's gluten free.
And Steve, for you,
to be honest with you, I don't have any daily practice, not one whatsoever. I guess
just be.
Well, not necessarily just be. The whole process of what we've done over the last few years has helped us keep, grounded. Like, I got one email. My life's not complicated. It's really, really simple. So it's easier to keep grounded, I guess, because of the simplicity of life.
That's a really good point. You're right. Simplicity leads to balance. A lot quicker way to be balanced if you got a simple life going on. So when I post the interview, I will list links to the various social media ventures that you've got going on. But Mia, so you've got your blog, which is hosted on Medium, I think.
Yeah.
And
yeah, I have the Mia Lockhart is my main blog, and then the Definitely Not the Joneses blog is on there too. So yeah, but the Definitely Not the Joneses is more family based.
Okay. Yeah. And Steve, you have a website.
I do, yeah. SteveLockhart.ca.
Right. Okay. And again, I'll actually post links to all that as well. Well, Definitely Not the Joneses, also known as the Lockhart family. I am really, really grateful for your time, for your wisdom, for opening your home to me, to our audience. I am so blessed to have met you back in Costa Rica. Perhaps our paths will cross again, although we might be in different parts.
I really hope so, and I love what you're doing.
Yeah.
Thank you.